Podcast. I'm your host, David Horn, coming to you from my garage gym in a small town in Illinois. This is episode 6, the Social Media Funhouse Mirror. Quick disclaimer, I'm not an expert, nor a therapist, or a doctor. I'm just a guy trying to get through this thing we call life on this rock we call home. And as always, remember, Jesus is the reason, the light, and the way. Always be the light. So today's topic has become an unavoidable part of modern life, or as I like to call it, the social media funhouse mirror. You know, social media can feel a lot like standing in front of a funhouse mirror at times. Some reflections make us look 10 feet tall. Others distort us so badly that we barely recognize ourselves. So the question is, how do we stop letting this mirror define us and start using it in a way that adds value to our lives? So we are going to explore how social media affects our self-worth, relationships, and time. I landed on this topic after re-listening to my first podcast. You remember, you have the right to remain calm. I had mentioned how the younger generation can carry great conversations via text or direct messages, but in person, sometimes they struggle. They can't do it so much. So I decided to tackle it. Let's start with this idea of the funhouse mirror. Social media has the incredible ability to magnify, distort, and even invert reality. We post our highlight reels like vacations, promotions, gym selfies, and perfectly styled meals. Meanwhile, we scroll through everyone else's highlight reels and start comparing them to our behind the scenes. So what is the result? It's the funhouse mirror effect. That reflection can lead us to not feeling so good about ourselves or being successful enough. It can definitely leave us in a mindset of, you're not good enough. But let's step back for a moment. Psalms 139:14 says, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, and I know that full well. You see, God created us with an infinite value. That's our true reflection, not the distorted one we seem to acquire by excessively being online. Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. So in other words, don't let external reflections, whether it's on social media or someone else's opinion, determine your worth. The true mirror is your mind and your character. Social media can also magnify what I like to call the keeping up with the Joneses mentality. It's that constant creeping urge to measure ourselves against others. Who has the nice car? Who has the bigger house? Who took the dream vacation or the perfect family photo? The truth is, a lot of what we encounter online is just a filtered version of reality. It's like trying to compare your behind-the-scenes footage to someone else's highlight reel. Proverbs 14:30 says, a heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones. So what this means is comparison is the thief of joy. It robs us of contentment and leaves us feeling like we're not enough. But here's the thing. God didn't create us to be copies of someone else. He created us as originals with our own unique path and purpose. Think about this analogy. Imagine you're running a race. If you're constantly looking at the runners next to you, you're not focused on your lane. You're more likely to trip or veer off course. Social media can have the same effect. It pulls our focus away from our own journey. The Stoics have a saying, man is disturbed not by things, but by the views he takes of them. So when we choose to view others' successes as a threat to our own worth, we're giving power to something external. Here's another trap, the illusion of perfection. Social media is built on curation, like filters, captions, and carefully chosen angles. But ask yourself, what's really going on behind the scene? Romans 12:2 reminds us, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You see, God calls us to authenticity, not filtered or edited versions of ourselves that social media often demands. I'm going to lay out 5 practical steps to approach social media and digital engagement in a way that reflects grit, grace, and intentional living. First, set intentions. Before logging on to social media, ask yourself, why am I here? Are you looking to connect with friends, share something uplifting, or simply pass the time? If your reason doesn't align with your values or serve your well-being, consider stepping back and redirecting your focus. So think of social media like a tool. Let's say a hammer, for example. It's great for building, but if it's misused, it can cause harm. So why not use it to build connections and positivity, not to tear yourself or others down? Proverbs 4:23 says, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." This verse reminds us to guard our intentions as we approach social media, ensuring that what flows from our time online is life-giving and not life-draining. Marcus Aurelius reminds us you have the power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and then you will find strength. So what does he mean by this? This means setting our minds on what we can control, like our purpose and our actions, and not letting the noise of the online world dictate your emotions or your priorities. Here's something else to think about. Logging on to social media without purpose is like walking into a store with no shopping list. You might end up wasting time buying things you don't need or walking out frustrated. So before you log on, take 30 seconds to breathe and ask yourself, what is my goal here? If your answer isn't meaningful, redirect your energy towards something more uplifting or productive. Secondly, curate your feed. Look at your social media feed like a garden. What you plant and how you tend to it will grow. Follow accounts that bring inspiration, joy, and encouragement, and weed out those that provoke envy, anger, or negativity. Now imagine your mind as a cup of water. The accounts you follow are drops of dye. Choose uplifting drops that create a clear and vibrant picture, not the ones that muddy the waters. Philippians 4:8 says, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things." Curating your feed to reflect things that are good, pure, and right not only helps you, but is good for those around you that you interact with. Seneca stated, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." Your digital associations matter just as much as your real life ones. The people and content you follow have a direct impact on your mindset and your attitude. I want you to try this. Set aside 10 minutes to review your follow list. Then unfollow or mute accounts that drain your peace and joy. Then actively seek out pages that align with your values and goals. A well-curated feed becomes a source of encouragement and positivity rather than one of comparison and anxiety. Thirdly, take digital Sabbaths. Stepping away from screens allows you to recharge and reconnect with what truly matters. Whether it's for an hour, a day, or even a weekend, unplugging gives your mind and spirit a much-needed break. Just like a field needs time to rest for the soil to regain its nutrients, your mind needs breaks too from the constant digital input to remain fertile and creative. Psalms 46:10 reminds us, "Be still and know I am God." A digital Sabbath creates space to experience the stillness and deepen your relationships, both with those around you and with your faith. Epictetus said, "It is impossible for a man to learn whatever he thinks he already knows." So stepping away from the constant flow of information allows room for true reflection and growth. So how do we start? Here's how. Designate a no phone hour during lunch, dinner, or even a weekend morning. Use that time to pray, reflect, meditate, or engage with loved ones. Think of it like sharpening your saw, taking time away from cutting wood so that you can be more effective when you return to cutting wood. 4, engage authentically. When you post, do it with purpose. Share moments that are real and meaningful, not just the highlights. And if you decide to comment or interact, aim for kindness and depth. Think of your posts and comments as seeds. What you sow, whether it's encouragement, authenticity, anger, or shallowness, is what will grow, not only in yourself, but in the hearts of others. Ephesians 4:29 says, "Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen." So why not apply this to your digital interactions? Because if you do, you will reap the benefits of uplifting others. Marcus Aurelius advises, waste no time arguing about what a good man should be one. Social media gives you the chance to demonstrate who you are through your actions online, and it's really no different than how you should be conducting yourself in real life. So the next time you're online, pause, and before you hit that post button, ask yourself, does this really reflect my values? Does it really add to the values of others? And if you decide to comment on something, take that extra moment to craft a thoughtful response instead of reacting impulsively. Fifth, anchor your identity. Social media has a way of making us forget who we are. Likes, follows, and trends can distract us from our own true worth. More times than not, they ground us in the world's validation and not in our internal truths. Imagine a ship anchored in a storm. No matter how rough the seas get, the anchor holds it steady. You see, your identity and faith can be that anchor amidst the chaos of social media. Jeremiah 29:11 reminds us, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Let this promise guide your sense of worth. Marcus Aurelius said, "If you are pained by external things, it is not that they disturb you, but your own judgment of them, and it is in your power to wipe out that judgment now." So why not define yourself by internal truths instead of fleeting opinions? Here's an easy practice that you can deploy. Start your day by meditating on gratitude. Before you touch your phone or any computer or any digital device, reflect on what you're thankful for and say a prayer for it. And when you're ending your day, do it in the same manner. This practice ensures your days are bookended with the proper focus on what truly matters, grounding yourself in peace and gratitude. Please note, I don't think all social media is bad. I don't think social media can be a bad thing at all. It's just a tool, and like any tool, its impact depends on how it's used. When we stop letting social media and its status define us, and we start using it with grateful and self-worthy intentions, it becomes a place of connection and a place of encouragement, rather than that of comparison and distortion. So I challenge you to step away from the Funhouse mirror and look into God's mirror, the one that shows you as a fearfully, wonderfully made human being, loved beyond measure and called to a purpose far greater than any number of likes or followers could provide. I'll leave you with this verse. It's Hebrews 10:24 through 25. "And let us consider how we may spur one another on towards love and good deeds, not giving up on meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but by encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the days approaching." Remember, stop letting the social media funhouse mirror define you. Instead, use it in a way that adds value, not only to your life, but also to those around you. You see, perfection is not the goal. The goal is growth. Think about it in this manner. Think about gold. It is refined by fire. That process isn't pretty, but it creates something valuable. So the same is true for us. Our worth isn't our likes, followers, or shares. It's in growth and resilience that we show as we navigate life's challenges with purpose, staying positive, and staying grounded in our true identity. So I hope you have a week full of strength, clarity, and the grace to handle whatever comes your way. And as always, remember to always be the light.